ENTJ.
See his face, and he did like a giggle in response.
All right, guys. So we are live. Welcome back to MBTV. See the happy shit back here. It's very happy to see you. It's kind of sneaking through the covers a little bit, but just to know, we are back on MBTV on the upswing of things, and we've got a guest with us today.
All right, I'm Tony here, all the way from Canada.
So Tony's in Canada, and I made a clerical error, and we have ESTP. I believe Tony actually identifies with ENFJ. So for you going, he's not ENFP, just don't worry. We'll remind you throughout the show that he is he's closest to ENFJ as far as we know.
Oh yeah, tests tell me I'm more of an ESTP. Like originally, I was tested as an ISTP in high school.
Right. So he's been all over the map as far as Myers-Briggs types go. So we're gonna interview him. We got Blake and Troy with us as well. Blake will be hopping in and out of Troy's cam if he wants to do that. So Tony, please share with us your MBTI experience and kind of how you got started in it, what you've been exposed to, and where you're at with it now.
All right. So MBTI first I experienced it in high school, and then I was just like, oh, cool. Like this is my personality type, and like before. Like high school was a time when I went through reserve phase, and like believed the time I was actually introverted, and then I was also interested in learning about people. So there had to be a system you had to go through. But like the first time I saw it, I wasn't that interested. I was like, oh, cool. I just saw the test. But then like a few years later, I don't know, I started getting different results. I found myself becoming more outgoing at university, so I decided to take it again and was tested as ESTP. And then, I don't know, like somewhere out of the blue, I saw functions, and like I thought like just soon as I was about to stop looking at it, I was also got into typing anime and movie characters. So then want to just continue from there.
Okay, so you say you now closely identify with ENFJ. So what makes you think ENFJ?
Like while I was growing up, like I had friends all over the place, like people in different grades. Like most people would stick with their own friends back in grade school, but I had friends who were older and younger than me, and they all said I was pretty chill, and it was really well liked. And then I also I realized that when I started causing trouble, that made me quite upset. And then I found a way to try hard and not make that same mistake again. Like I was more of a people pleaser growing up, and then during high school, that's when I start entering my more withdrawn phase. And seeing, because I wasn't into all that superficial things people were doing, and always suspected that there was another way of doing something rather than just being like, oh, you gotta fuck all day. Wait, that was a bit too sensitive there.
Okay, so let me ask you this then. As far as we understand, the ENFJ is very paralleled with the group harmony, as far as not just necessarily the group they're currently in, but aligning with values that are outside of oneself and eventually making sense of those values to where they adopt it of their own, as long as it serves some particular culture or group they align with, whether it's family, friends, that type of thing. Does that fit with you? And if it does, could you provide an example of how you use that in your daily life?
I feel like it fits with me in some way because, especially when today's dating culture is quite hectic, people growing up, people make tons of mistakes here and there, girls mistaking bad boys for actually being confident, or them believe them. Sometimes they could have really high unexpected standards that they're the ones that they're gonna fix them. And then there's also the the stereotypical nice guys who people believe are actually wimps, but then there's actually a difference between an actual nice guy and just put on that act just to get what they want.
Okay.
So then what I'm really passionate about is finding the most effective route of how to relationships with people or having a great date.
Okay, and how would you describe your life philosophy ultimately? Like, this is how I approach life in general. Like, what is your general life philosophy? If you were to encapsulate it, what would it be?
General life philosophy. It's something that I'd say it's kind of flexible here and there, but right now it's at least have something to do, accomplish something in your life, but then accomplish through like tough means as well. I'd say like set a goal for something, accomplish something through any means, even if it gets you into a lot of shit with each other. But then don't do with a few actions prohibited, like usually serious crimes like rape, murder, and other sensitive things.
Okay, Trey, Blake, do you have questions for Tony here? You're muted.
I see you chopping apples.
Okay, he can't get his mic to work.
Okay, so we'll ask you through your.
All right,
mic.
sorry.
Oh, you got it?
Yeah, it's just my screen is messed. So, do I have any questions for him?
Yep.
Go on.
Have you ever studied philosophy or anything of the sort to help with your perspective on how you should handle people and different situations?
I studied a bit. Like I didn't go exactly into deep analysis, but I know a few theories. Or like I don't remember the names. I know the names, but I don't know like who created certain theories. I know like Plato, Socrates. Who else is it? Aristotle. And then like they created like one of them created a cynical philosophy that everyone is motivated by their own interest.
Okay, yeah, I was just curious.
Yeah, fair enough.
Okay, so
But then one thing I noticed is like I don't like going into exact deep abstract theory. Like sometimes I just want to go in and do it without any prior knowledge of something. Like that's where the fun comes in, you know? That's what Bill Gates and Steve Jobs did.
Okay, so are you saying like jump in without jump in and apply what? What are you applying?
I'm implying that sometimes you just gotta go and take risks. Like Steve Jobs as a kid, he was diagnosed with ODD and like had a rough home life, but then he knows what he's doing right now. Actually, he's dead, but like he knew what he was doing at least.
I was like, what?
He's rolling in his grave.
It's like, actually, never mind. He's dead.
Yeah, man, you want to go have some experience? Is that what you're saying? You want to go have some experiences? You want to go freaking jump out of airplanes? Is that what you're about to do?
Yeah, no, it's crazy. Yes, that of course. Like,
No?
yeah, come on, like you like is common sense right there. Like, yeah, sometimes like like an article, a really interesting article I read about successful people. It talks about that. It talks about some counterintuitive things successful people do, and then one thing is just to do the wrong thing and ironically pick fights with others. Well, when everyone else tells you not to pick fights at all.
Do you pick fights with other people?
Most of the time I don't, but like sometimes it can turn that way. Like when I say, like especially like people say wrong things sometimes. Like joking, like with my Muslim friends. Oh God, this is gonna get twisted. I called him a terrorist.
It's all right. I got a Muslim friend. I call him a terrorist all the time. It's no big deal. It only offends him to the greatest degree, which I mean. But that's not what we're here to talk about, Tony.
Yeah. I go off on tangents a lot.
Wow. All right. So
And back on the mic.
all right. So we're going to switch topics a little bit.
Yeah.
Tony, so I'm curious, you mentioned SE and FE as part of your personality. What other functions do you identify with that you've noticed? You say you like to use all your functions. That's what we had before we hopped on live here. What is it that you recognize in your personality other than SE and FE?
As in, like more TI and NI, of course.
Okay.
Yeah,
So,
because I tend to think of I know that for sure, like think of implications and like don't share ideas of what's to happen next. But then the reason, yeah, like that's one of the reasons I thought I was introverted before, like because of that TI and where it's all about thinking inwards.
okay.
And then like my TI usually tends to trigger right after I talk to people or like have a huge day. I'm like, how well did it go? Like some days I'd be like really happy, but like other days, like even though like you have lots of party like making silly jokes like with your shirt running around shirtless, at the end of the day you're like what the hell did I just do?
Okay, so I want to ask you this too. You're friends with Jet. So
Yes.
yeah, how do you guys know each other? Jet was on here a few weeks ago. He was the ESTP, which I should have named this ENFJ, but he was the ESTP. And how do you guys know each other? How did that come to fruition?
Yeah, we actually just met on YouTube.
Okay, you have your own channel?
Oh yeah, I created a really embarrassing one just a few days ago. I was just really upset that day and like create some videos concerning like some family issues.
Okay, are they still up or they're gone now?
They're still up. Like you guys can go watch it later, but
All right, so
I won't watch it again.
we'll publicize the link later. I'll put it on the description. Tony's embarrassing video.
Yeah.
If people really want to watch them, so we'll add those to the description.
You could even change your channel name to Tony's Embarrassing Videos.
Fair enough. But like Damon, like I got a question to ask you right now.
Okay, shoot.
Or like, so I saw your relationship video and it says you told me you mentioned that you've never actually gone to actual one. So, well, what made you choose that?
It's called the wonderful invisible hand of the marketplace. The invisible hand.
Invisible hand. Oh, what do you mean?
Well, there's in economics, I guess there's this underlying theory that the invisible hand controls the market. It's kind of the root philosophy of capitalism. So, and it means that there's forces that control the market to make it kind of stabilize or grow, and so the forces. In this case, I was making kind of a joke, like the invisible hand has made it forces to where I have not found a suitable partner in order to get it.
Oh yeah.
And so, but we can go into this detail, about my life and how I got into this position in the first place. But the reality of the situation is that I find I have a real problem with just settling with anybody. Yeah. Because, okay, the way that I see a lot of people do it, not everybody, of course, but a lot of people go, hey, I'm lonely. I have a void in my heart. I need to fill it. Ooh, you're kind of cute. I'll fill it. And then let's get in together in a relationship. Let's hold hands and skip and frolic in the park.
Yeah, I realize that that's actually ridiculous. Like, I've read lots of research studies on that, like people who actually get into relationships for love actually do end up becoming less happy than arranged couples.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of preconceived notions that and a lot of people will disagree with me, but my philosophy is in order to truly love something or someone or somebody other than yourself, you first have to love yourself and you have to have a sense of maturity. And it takes a lot of, because most of the time it's the ego attachment. So what I mean maturity is I don't mean a mature person necessarily.
Oh, yeah.
What I mean is spiritual maturity, being
Oh, yeah,
able
spiritual,
to
yeah.
identify with the
Damn it!
attachment.
I don't know. That's so annoying to find out.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's part of life.
Yeah, and that's where my primary issue is that I notice, at least from my perspective, again, I don't brand myself as an expert on this subject because I know that I'm speaking through my own meta filters, which my meta programs kind of dictate. I'm going to find the appropriate evidence to further support my conclusion and making me a very biased person. So I'm aware of that, but I will say that in my perspective, I find that a lot of people use relationships as an ego attachment, and it's like,
oh yeah, you go, oh yeah, they do.
yeah,
They
it's
do
like,
big
hey,
time.
I'm in a relationship now. Let's change my status so everybody can know that, and they kind of identified with themselves as a person who's in a relationship versus the person who.
Yeah, I know.
So that's my primary problem with it, and I'm unwilling to do that. I think a relationship needs to be a relationship, not a I'm insecure, so I need to fill the void in my heart, or I'm financially unstable and I need to find somebody to help pay my bills.
Yeah, exactly. Like, to be honest, I've never been in a real relationship either, and like when I actually talk to people and have a great time with them, I just forget all about it and like it doesn't. I don't think life would have been that different if I had if I had multiple girlfriends before, like because you're a kid growing up, and then like life's too short for that shit. There's more important things.
Well, we are getting ready to release a video that I've done that talks about a lot about my position and how I've actually kind of, from my standpoint, how I've actually pushed relationships out of my life unconsciously. And that video is in editing right now. So that video is going to be talking about specifically how I have removed relationships from my life. And this was done unconsciously and not on purpose. It was a defense mechanism on my end. So it's not only the market, of course, it's also me. I'm the problem. Well, a part
for you.
Yeah. But that's the other side of it. So it's not just one thing. It's not just one thing of, hey, everybody's kind of screwed up and I'm don't want to mess with them. It's more of, I've got this set of issues, they've got this set of issues, and these two issues don't clash, they don't mesh.
Well, you're not being a crybaby. Congratulations.
Right. Yeah, and that's part of it though. It's part of the growth of journey is recognizing where you're wrong. And I have enough fortune to have the right people around me, even though I hate when they tell me, but they're right.
Oh,
and
yeah.
They say things that really make me think. Of course, I get pissed off in the moment. I'm like, that's bull crap. But then later, I'm like, okay, you're right. Damn it, you got me. But it's just you have people to give you that kind of feedback. It's always having good counsel around you, and that's what's important, is being able to use that counsel to help you identify where you're going wrong in something. So.
Oh yeah, like good counsel. Like sometimes, like it gets, I don't know, like for Pat's views, like uni can get. Uni, or as you guys call it, college, can get rough. But like for counseling, they usually give out the advice that they give out can be really impractical sometimes. Like they usually give out the whole picture of what you're doing, but then not necessarily the steps you're taking. Like they wouldn't say stuff like, "Oh, you gotta go clubbing," or like you have to talk in a softer or a rougher tone.
Yeah.
Like they never go into specifics though. That's where it gets annoying.
Area I would say is that I've kind of sacrificed a lot of my personal life lately for the sake of MBTV, for the sake of growth of this company.
Holy shit.
For the sake of growth of my work, I've made a priority to be able to do this work kind of thing, and I put it above everything else. And it was kind of a huge mistake looking back and going, hey, I recognize that I've lost the last few years of my life.
Oh, you mean like becoming a workaholic?
Yes, that's an understatement. But yeah, that's an understatement. I have become obsessed with work to the point where I'm at a point now where I'm at total exhaustion. I got really sick last week.
Oh no. Yeah, that's where you're taking a nap. Where Blake says I'm stalking him.
Yeah, and so I was pretty bad. It was one of my worst sicknesses. I got a little list of some of my worst ones, and that was pretty bad. So I'm still recovering from that. But I mean, the point is I've kind of hit this energy wall because of all the amount of force that I put into my work for so long. I drained myself. And then it made me think, you know what, I got to live my life a little bit. So, it's time to splurge a little bit on my life and enjoy myself a little more. So things are coming.
That's where your SE starts coming to play. Like, you're like, oh no, I'm just stressed out. Let's just live in the moment.
Well, yeah, you know, and for me, it's just about making those major changes. And so MBTV is changing in a lot of ways because it's going to reflect a improved life philosophy. I don't want to say
Oh yeah.
new, I will say improved. So that's kind of that. We've kind of course, we've taken this conversation, kind of centralized it around another central issue of relationships or dating or whatever it is that we're discussing right now. But I think that ultimately, yeah, hopefully that answers your question, why I'm in the position I'm in.
Positioning, but like other than that, like, other than that, like, there's nothing that I've indicated like you had trouble with your dating life in the past, or like, you just seem like, you're just really into humans compared to like stereotypical ESTJs,
Well, I mean,
ENTJs.
yeah. One thing I can say, this is why I like combining Socionics with MBTI, because it really explains the other side of me. I'd never really found that I really was pretty close to every other type.
Oh
As
yeah.
far as like, I look at the descriptions of all, I fit the description, but then when I see people of that type, I'm like, I don't really relate to you necessarily. You know, so I realize that human dynamic can't be contained in just one small category. So I like to combine the Socionics theory. And the Socionics theory I relate to a lot as far as how it describes a lot of the aspects of my character. And some of the things that are like my hidden motives, my hidden agendas, things like that.
Oh yeah, you mean like it still gave you ENTJ there?
No, I actually got ESTP in Socionics, which is SLE. So yeah, that's what I identify most with in Socionics is SLE. So that really helped me clarify a lot of the issues that I was going with as far as understanding why I didn't quite fit with this particular aspect. Because, I mean, anybody who knows me, and even a decent amount, knows how important my interpersonal value system is. And,
yeah.
Yeah, and I definitely fit beta quadrant values over gamma quadrant values as far as Socionics goes. So there's a lot of the aristocratic / hierarchical, you know, staging for my life. So there's that aspect. So it's important to identify, you know, what it is that I was kind of going through and saying, okay, ENTJs, they forget their values. I've never forgotten my values. I'm very aware. They're very present in my personality, to the point where it's not because I'm scared of exerting force. It's because it doesn't align with what I believe. And so there's a lot of things that I'm like, you know, that's not the way that you treat people. That's not the way that you do that. And yet I know that I don't make decisions off of those values, but they're kind of a guiding compass to help nurture my behavior.
Yeah, guiding compass. Yeah, like FI is normally about having certain set of values and like sticking to them, and like organizing into a world. Like I'm not sure if it's more strict for the ITJs or the ETJs with their values. I think the ITJs would be more strict about maintaining their values because their FI is in a tertiary function.
Yeah, it gets complicated when you look at MBTI versus Socionics as well, because the MBTI is much about what's important to you and what's not. I align with that, the FI, as far as it being inferior in MBTI, but I don't align with FI and Socionics at all, to the point where I don't even understand it. I understand the concept of it, but I don't see it myself at all. And it it is my point of least resistance. It's my polar function. I don't even see a point for it. To me, and I've been accused throughout my life of being so black and white, which is like either you're in or you're out kind of thing. And, you know, you can get out and I still keep the door open. You can always come back in, but you're either one or the other. And I don't understand, you know, this gauging distance. Like, I kind of trust you, kind of don't. Like, I don't even really I can't even wrap my head around that aspect. So I don't even see a point for it. It's either people change, people get better, people improve. So I leave the door open. I don't permanently eliminate people from my life. I try to, but it fails because I change, and I'm okay with that. There's no character judgment. There's action judgment. You are not good for my life right now, but I always leave the availability open. Like, I don't block people or delete people from my social media or whatever. Because
I know, like, you know, like
me off or whatever. So
I don't know, like I don't know. I remember during my teen years about trying to block people off as well. Like, you know, I'm just like, hey, I'm never ever gonna let you use my phone again. But then at the same time, but then later on, like, I don't know, like, you just start apologizing, and then like my friends I remember like my friends got really annoying that time and just kept pointing out that you say you're never gonna do it again. Like they're taking too literally.
Right.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
one more question. Like,
Go ahead.
oh yeah, so like, do you find yourself being very organized while working as well? Like your first full-time job.
Yeah. Pretty organized.
Like pretty organized to the point that people saw you as black and white or just too rigid, or like how often did people see you as you're one of those dudes who's doing it my way or the highway?
I've been accused of being an organized risk taker.
Oh,
Yeah, I take a ton of risk to the point where it's almost stupid at times. So
oh, it's to the point that you'd be a great mob president.
I'm super organized to the point where I calculate my risk, but at the same time I'm willing to take pretty significant risks. So for me, it's the organization is pretty critical. I would say that I've been accused of being too organized at times. I learned to lay back a little bit on that, but in Socionics, that's not so much TE as it is in MBTI. It's much more TE.
Oh yeah, Socionics like I found that it's actually a lot easier to understand. Like TE, like extroverted, all the extroverted functions are like you acting on them, all about you acting on it. But like introverted, it's like more structured, and having a framework. So like TI is basically the TE of Socionics.
Right. It's yeah, exactly. It's much more TE and Socionics. So of course, I created a translation guide looking at the functions, how to translate them into Socionics and back. So
oh yeah, like how often do you do reckless things when you're having fun? Like when you're relaxing, out partying?
What is relaxing?
Oh, like relaxing, like just out chilling with your friends, partying, and then you guys start doing stupid shit together. Like smoking too much weed.
We don't condone weed smoking here at MBTV.
No, you don't understand. Damon cannot relax. He can't. He does not know what it is to relax.
Yeah.
Like
So,
he just has to do something.
right. It's not for me. It's I have to keep moving. And I do reckless, stupid crap all the time. But the thing is, like I told you earlier, is because I've shut those parts out of my life, so much my personal hobby side, that I really haven't done a lot of reckless, stupid crap. But now it's time to do reckless, stupid crap again, and I'm back into the game of doing reckless, stupid crap.
That's exactly like me in elementary school, and then withdrawing during high school, and like now that I need to let loose and have to go out, it's that part of life again. Like sometimes it just feels like you're becoming less mature.
No, I wouldn't call it that. See, the problem is what I would say it's the opposite. Because I've avoided a lot of the personal aspect of my life, including eliminating people or pushing people away, which I'm notorious for absolutely not even trying to do. I just do.
Oh yeah.
And it's because I pushed all these people away. It actually makes me less mature. I should have partied and done crazy stuff. And I've had a lot of shocks in my relationships lately, as far as with people. And like a lot. It's been pretty hectic since I guess about 2 months. 2 months to today has been like one shock after another, and I realized a pattern. And the pattern was that I lost touch with me, and I lost touch with my aspect of who I am. And I knew who I was, but I just kind of repressed it because I was so focused on work. So I said, you know what? In the last week,
you're becoming workaholic again.
Yeah.
You say
so
like that's not even anything compared to what.
Yeah, exactly. And so in the last week, what I've done was like, you know what? I'm going full out, all crazy. After I recover fully, it's going to be fun as much as possible, less about work, and I'm just going to enjoy the crap out of myself. Screw what everyone else thinks. Screw everything. Just have a blast, and that's what it's about for now. And again, I think that's going to be the other side. It's actually good. It sounds counterintuitive because it sounds like I'm actually saying I'm going to go less mature, but it's actually getting to terms with myself, right? It's coming.
Yeah, I know.
and seeing the other side of myself that I've buried for so long, and I'm just I'm kind of out of that phase now. I still am going to work, of course, because that's how I keep the lights on. But there's another aspect of it's time to be me again, and I've been.
Oh yeah, like like people talk a lot about you balancing yourself, like you're balancing your life out. But sometimes that just I just hate it when people give you that advice because it sounds like you're trying to repress yourself by just becoming normal. Like it just sounds like you're meeting the normal norms of societal standards,
Right.
where yeah, it's harmonizing, but eventually you get nothing done.
Yeah, so that's exactly right. So let's change the gear. Let's take it back off of me. Unless you have one more question or so for me, I'm going to change the gears of the conversation. Make sure my audience obviously knows me because I talk too damn much. So,
Oh yeah.
yeah. So unless you have another question, I will change gears of the conversation. Do you have
or
anything?
like I'll ask you, ask Trey and Blake instead.
Yeah, I mean we can.
Like how often they do crazy stuff.
Trey has a ton of dead space above his head that's driving me crazy right now. He's pulling the Daniel. Yeah, so, all right.
Yeah, where is Daniel right now? Like,
who knows? He's lost in the abyss.
oh, playing D&D.
Right. Yeah, something. He's probably, dungeon master or something. Who knows? Okay, so let's move it back. So we said that you moved to, ENFJ earlier. So for those who've joined in, I put ESTP as a title like an idiot. It's actually ENFJ. And we've got Tony here who prefers ENFJ. And we were kind of talking about, the functions in his personality, SE, FE, and he kind of flipped it over talking about a little bit of my relationship history and kind of what I struggled with and why I find myself in a position where I had no relationships. And that's what we just got done talking about. We're going to change gears now to the conversation to kind of focus on really identifying how the ENFJ in his particular life, the aspect of him that's so different from other ENFJs that he might identify with. So, Tony, would you tell me that how you see yourself being so different from other ENFJs? Obviously, we know that we can't fit you and your entire personality in a particular box. What makes you feel different from other people or other ENFJs? What stands out about you that you notice like, I've never really seen that in anybody else? What is the unique identifier there?
Oh, like unique. You mean like other person? I'd say like, like ENFJs, like I've read about them. They're stereotyped as the ones who just invade people's spaces, like stereotyped as that, and like not wanting to know every single personal detail about you. Like sometimes I still have a tendency to do that, but I try very hard not to invade people's spaces and then like spread rumors or gossip about others like many of the ESFJs do, like the other FE DOMs.
Okay. Do you clash with other ENFJs?
To be honest, I haven't. The only other real ENFJ I met was my guidance counselor, and then we don't really. What do you say, class or
clash? Like, do you get disagreements with them, or do you not like them, or how's your relationship with them?
Oh yeah, like I do kind of clash with other ones because, like FE doesn't mean you necessarily have the same values. So like, someone can believe that you have to. Like being rude should be avoided at cost, but like for me, it's more like, I have a different set of value about like everyone should have the right to have an end goal of something, and like end goal of something and like get what they want from it. But like, of course, like not without harm, without committing any extreme heinous acts that wound people forever.
Okay. All right, so we have a question from the audience for all of us, including Blake, is who do you clash with the most and why? And she said she thinks the guy to the left in the blue is an INFJ, and that would be correct. The guy who is at the bottom of the camera screen, again, is an INFJ. So
the bottom, what do you mean bottom, like, you mean to the left?
Yeah, he's okay.
From their perspective, they're seeing Trey, and I wonder how they figured out he was INFJ without
Hey
any.
guys, welcome to MBTG.
Or maybe they know his channel too. Like MBTV is linked with INFJ.
Yeah.
Or more like Trey.
Yeah, MBTV's a lot of Trey. Yeah. So he's been more quiet lately.
Come here.
Okay, audience. That was a poke fun at Daniel.
Oh yeah,
Right
like gotta get to the audience question, like the type. Oh, like type I usually clash with. Not too sure exactly. Like, I think it really depends on the situation. Like, if it comes to having conversations, I'd say it's you clash with a lot more of the SI type, like the SI DOMs, like ICJs and ISFJs, because they're talking about they go into really unnecessary details about like what things are supposed to be like, or like talking about too much mundane topics, like what's your favorite movie, or yeah, too much to me. Like people are like, oh, this dude's so hot. Like many of the superficial things.
Okay, I'm going to answer this question real quick, and the question is, what do I clash with? So in the MBTI world, I clash with MBTI ISFJs. Okay, so that's in the MBTI world. In the Socionics world, I clash with SEIs. Okay, so I have this clash.
Oh, you mean like SE, like both sensors?
They're the ISFJs and MBTI, and so I naturally clash with both of these types in an odd way. So I don't know enough about the Socionics relations to know what my conflictor type is, I guess, off the top of my head. I mean, I could calculate it right now, but
one thing I realized as well is I clash with people. I clash with the less progressive types because because they it gets annoying like when they're not open to new ideas and like trying to see new ways of the world. Like they just think that this is, or like people who try to impose right and wrong, or like more like good and bad values on you. Like I'm quite liberal on that.
Yeah. All right, so Trey, do you have any questions, any comments about clashing types? Oh yeah, Trey, announcement. Trey found his duel in Socionics, and he says it's the greatest thing ever. Trey is happily engaged.
I didn't say it's the greatest thing ever. I just think it's
greatest
crazy.
thing ever. Greatest thing, yeah.
It's almost like, okay, I want you guys to imagine that you had a regular conversation with somebody on the street, right? Like you were just walking around and you started talking to somebody. Just think about how normal it is. But instead, like take that same normal conversation, nothing's different, just a regular normal conversation, and give it this like really weird feeling in between both people where it's like, I really think you're cool. Like, I don't know, it's just like at the same time there was like this really weird like it was strange. It was like this click on both sides. So then from there on out it's just like the entire conversation is always like, I don't know. There's no dead points really. It's really strange. It's just an automatic click.
Automatic. What do you mean? Like automatic click that you just found the love of your life? Like it just clicks in your mind.
Well, I mean, I don't really like to categorize people as like what they're going to be because I don't really know that. So when they pass by and they become something else, then I'm okay with that too. Like I don't like to disappoint myself or anybody else. So I just prefer to leave it to be what it is, and then we'll see. But
yeah, that's the one thing that pickup artists really annoy me with it, because they're basically saying you have to just assume know about what's going on, like using those dirty, some seduction techniques just to get laid. Like they're like, so you like, you know, it's great to make observational statements towards someone like, oh, you must be in science, like based on what you are, or you must be in arts or engineering. But then one thing that gets annoying is, you know, like initially people are affected about how you say something rather than what you're saying, because like tone actually does have a huge difference. But the one thing that gets really annoying is, just feels like what they're saying is insincere a lot of time. Like, you know, like saying stuff to get in your pants.
You know, it's funny you mentioned the seductive techniques because I actually studied them for a while, not to use them, but I just wanted to understand why people would. What was the psychology behind why somebody wants to manipulate somebody into something they don't want to do, right? And I've also studied like the dark side of NLP for the same reason, and because you can use NLP in ways to manipulate people. This kind of actually brings me to another point, which we just mentioned a while ago, is conflictor types in socionics that we conflict with. So my true conflictor type is the INFJ in socionics, which actually makes perfect freaking sense because.
Oh, you mean conflicting for ESTP Socionics?
Yes. Yeah. So it's going to be INFJ in socionics, which is actually closest to INFP in MBTI. Now, a lot of people may go, well, aren't you ENTJ and you're supposed to go well with the INFP? I'm attracted to them, yes. But I piss them off all the time. I frustrate the crap out of them. And they irritate me too. So there's a point here where we have this clash because the Myers-Briggs typology relationship indicator, there is none. There's no such thing. In Myers-Briggs, they don't do type relationships. There's types, and that's it. That's all you get. But in socionics, you get the intertype relations. So the INFP was a Kersey pairing for the ENTJ. And although it sounded ideal, and I still like the INFP type, I just naturally I clash with them. And I've noticed this in the socionics. Those who translate over from INFP into MBTI into the INFJ or the EII, they are the ones that I clash with quite a bit. And I've noticed this in the conflicting type too. And that's where I've had a lot of issues. So my point is that, you know, I see these techniques that are used for seduction. And when we use these techniques, they're forms of manipulation, which is forms of using some type of deceit. And I naturally am opposed to it. I've never used them. I've studied them, like I said, because I wanted to also protect people from being manipulated. Like I said, I've always been really in touch with my values. But what's ironic about the whole thing and what's kind of paradoxical is I've been accused of manipulating because because I understand psychology and this is what I do. I've had a lot of people tell me, well, you're using this to manipulate me. No, you know, you're going to see what you're going to see, right? And
like that. Yeah, that's what my friends and even my brother told me. Like one time they were like, you're literally like one time at parties, like, oh, like I was going around starting arguments here and there. Like I was like, hey, or like playing devil's advocate, like trying to go all ENTP, and then like you get threats of like people threatening to beat you up everywhere, and then like when I told my brother and like some of my friends about it, they're like, you're literally being Hitler right now.
Yeah.
Like some ruthless dictator, like probably thought. I'm not sure. Like, probably type myself as an ESTP. Like, doing. Like, I feel like I'm more ESTP when I'm stressed out, though.
Oh, that makes sense because if you're talking about the socionic sense, you're in the same quadra. You might tap into your later functions or your weaker functions when you're stressed. They might be overutilized when you're stressed. So yeah, and that would make sense. Or vice versa. Maybe use those functions and you become stressed. Because I can tell you there's things that stress me out that are actually related to the weaker functions over a period of time.
Yeah, like it's actually easier to charm or manipulate others when you're actually feeling strong, when you're feeling weak. Not weak, like sad. Yeah, more like sad, upset. And you just wanna vent it all out. vent it all up because because like naturally you're gonna come across as more passionate.
Yeah, it's
When you
just
say out loud.
there's a point where you start getting drained, and then you start doing things that are not really you. And the typology journey is fascinating in general because we all naturally are going to go through phases in our life where we think this is who we are. This is who I am, right? This is what I do. This is who I am. And then 4 years down the road, you realize that's not you.
Or like maybe like someone's like if you do like like society like sometimes they're like really exploitative. Like when you do one thing wrong, they just say, "Oh, he just revealed his true colors. He's evil. Don't talk to him again."
Right. That's going to be more of the FI standpoint, the psychological distance character judgment side in socionics. This person is this way, and that's the way it is, and that's it. They're this way. That's what you're going to see in socionics quite a bit. You're going to see the gamma quadra do this, is because they value FI and they value that psychological distance, and they're able to gauge those type of things. You'll see it quite a bit in the gamma quadras, those harsh character judgments, especially from the SEE. You'll see it, and you'll see it from the equivalent of ESFP, I guess, if you want to use the Myers-Briggs term, or ESFP in socionics, and ISFP in socionics.
I'm kind of getting lost here. Like 1 sec. What you study in university?
What did I study?
Yeah.
Finance and business management.
Oh yeah, typical ENTJ stuff. Finance,
boring
like
stuff.
boring stuff that you almost got a heart attack last week.
Yeah, I don't know. I liked it. It was a lot of fun. I didn't really get a heart attack. I think it really excited me. Being in competitive with other students and being in there and just kicking their ass. that was a lot of fun for me. And part of it, I had an advantage though. I had years of business experience, and these were fresh kids out of high school. So
one more thing. Like you said, like it was competitive and a lot of fun, but like for like one thing. That's more like a dominant TE for you. But like one thing I find really fun is just playing around with people's emotions, like purposely making them upset and then be like, and later telling them you're just joking around. But I know that there's some people who can't handle that, like my ISFP best friend.
Well, Tony,
like
I want to interject on that real quick, because there's one aspect I do want to say too. Is a lot of people piss people off, and they don't do it on purpose. They unconsciously do it. It comes out. Like, for example, I push a lot of people away. I don't want to push people away. I want to have a big network of people I care and trust. And yet unconsciously, I'm driving them away, right? Mm-hmm. So, and a lot of people piss other people off, not for the sheer sake of entertainment, but it's actually because there's a subconscious mechanism there that's pushing them away or trying to create some kind of distance between you and someone else. I have,
I'm trying to just tease them.
Yeah.
Tease them around with it, like, at least you gotta let them know that you were joking. Yeah, that probably sounded cold-hearted though.
Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of people who take things defensively, I guess, or they take things offensively, and I've been accused of being very defensive, and it's again because I don't naturally trust people. That's a problem that I deal with all the time. It's like, why the hell don't I trust this person? This person hasn't done anything to make me not trust them.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, so, you're just naturally critical and like.
I have
one decided, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Psychological standpoint that everybody wants to try to dominate me or trying to push me around or trying to attack me.
Oh yeah.
So,
mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I'm like, I naturally want to push back, and so I'm like, someone was like, hey, maybe you should not be so forceful, or maybe you should not be so mean, or maybe you should not be so direct, or maybe you should not try to solve the issues that I'm going through right now. And I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? What the hell are you?
Yeah.
And they're like, chill, Jesus, chill down, chill. And I'm like, don't tell me to freaking chill.
Yeah.
I watch myself.
Oh, wait, 1 sec. I gotta put my phone in the charger.
Yeah, I've watched myself overreact plenty of times, and I'm like, shit, I've overreacted again. And it's because, again, there's this psychological mechanism that I think that nobody really gives a damn at the core. But I've actually discovered recently that I've been very, very wrong about this, and so I'm working through it. Like I said, there's a video we're being released.
Good for you now. Like, one sec, I got something to say now. All right, so like one thing I noticed while growing up, or growing up for the most part, was that I was like, when someone got like angry, I usually just say sorry and maybe I should just leave him alone, or help him feel better, someone feel better. And they're like, MBTI can be really complicated sometimes. Like people getting mistyped 24/7.
Well, it's not that to make it complicated. It's us idiots that make it complicated because we think MBTI is the answer to everything. Why do you use the bathroom 6 times a day? Oh, that's because you're ISFP. What the hell are you talking about?
And plus, it's still bullshit to mainstream society. And people say it's like, oh, it's no different than a horoscope.
Yeah, no different than a horoscope. Well, it's psychological perspective. I mean, how much can you actually witness? It kind of is like horoscope in a lot of ways. Like, I'm a big fan of MBTI, don't get me wrong. But there's people who openly admit who love horoscope. This is bullshit, but I love it anyway. Right?
Horoscope or the zodiac symbols.
But I'm just saying, there's a lot of people who do love that aspect of it. So, and I love the cognitive perspective aspect. But we can't prove it. We can't empirically observe it. So we can only go as far as what we can do. Now, Socionics, a little more empirical, but it's all cognitive theory is still under much scrutiny.
Let's get into the fun part right now. Like when you're having fun, like name me some embarrassing things you guys did. No, Damon, don't collapse.
Shit, he was having tea.
Oh man, you got me. I just thought of something really stupid that I did. Oh, that was ridiculous. I had turned red. I was like, oh, geez. Okay. And it wasn't because I was embarrassed. It was because I was actually drinking water, and you made me laugh while I was drinking water.
Oh, yeah.
Excuse me. Oh, that was terrible.
Oh, come on.
All right.
Wow, I must be that attractive. Copying me drinking water.
I don't know where you drew that conclusion.
Oh, don't worry.
I'm going to roll.
Don't worry. I'm just joshing with you.
All right, so that being said, let's start with Trey. Trey, embarrassing moments.
I don't remember any of them. Someone literally just asked me to tell them a bunch of embarrassing moments a while ago, and I couldn't answer because I don't remember any of them.
Somebody just asked, was it the ESFJ?
I knew you'd figure that out.
See, Trey has been spending so much time with his duel. I'm really thinking this duel thing actually is true. So Trey is feels totally understood. His bones feel like he's understood.
Oh, you mean from the Tinder pool, like the ultimate world of Tinder?
It was from Tinder, if I'm not correct. If I'm not mistaken. Trey, was it from Tinder?
Come on.
Okay, so we just created an embarrassing moment for Trey. That was the point.
Oh, bird.
Yeah. So. Okay.
Oh my God. Damon is good at that shit, man.
All right, Blake.
He's like, oh, you don't have one? All right, I'll make one.
I got one for Blake though. Blake, the most embarrassing moment for Blake recently was recording an ESTJ life hacks video where he was trying to jump into his shorts.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
And he
I'll
failed.
demonstrate the technique on this live stream. You'll have to go look it out on our MBTV Coach Facebook page.
He doesn't even care. He's like, it'll get views.
Yo, that's nothing. That's nothing compared to
your shorts every morning.
That's nothing compared to what I did. Like, at least you guys did pee with another dude. Pee with another dude on the same toilet.
Whoa.
Yeah, exactly.
That's pretty. I don't know how that would happen. So I need to know the variables. How did this go down?
Oh yeah, it was actually it was back in elementary school. Like one time there were no toilets left, and then I saw. I was so used to doing with my dad before, so there was an open space on one side, so then I decided to join in on the right side.
Oh,
Man, people were mocking me that whole day. They're like, ew, what the fuck? You're not cool anymore. You're so disgusting.
wait, did that scar you? Like, are you okay now?
Not much. Like, few dudes were like all right with it though.
Oh, okay. I don't want to be laughing at you and tearing you
Oh,
apart
no,
on the
no.
side.
Oh no, it's been a while. Like, it's a distant past. Oh, keep laughing.
Oh, okay.
Chill. It's like you're forcing yourself to laugh right now.
He was. He's ESTJ, you see.
What happened? Okay. All right. So embarrassing moments, guys. We came off. We went a little off track. We got to get back on track a little bit. Tony.
No, it's all part of the game. It's all part of expressing yourself right now. Embarrassing moments for the win.
All right, so guys, I'm asked the audience this. Audience, please post what type you think Tony is. He thinks he's ENFJ. He was confused between ESTP and ENFJ. I'd like your opinions to see what type you think he is. I'm very, very curious what you guys think. Let's see just post a type that you believe he may be, and then we'll run through them. Let's see if they correlate. In the meantime, while you guys are doing that, let's ask Blake or Trey if they have any questions for Tony here.
All right.
Sorry, I didn't hear what she said.
Oh, like he said, it's like, oh, Blake or Trey, ask me questions.
Yep. Blake, Trey.
Oh, ask you questions?
Yeah, do you have any questions for him? Before we proceed.
Well, is your computer really that soft?
No, it's not the computer, it's Trey. He's face down.
You might want to go see a doctor tomorrow.
No, doctors don't know how to diagnose INFJs.
They'll be like, oh, you're an alien. Get out of here.
Yeah, they're a unicorn. And the doctor's going to go,
oh, like, Trey, like, have you... Apparently, I've read descriptions about INFJs, and have you felt like you were alienated?
How so?
Alienated, like, feeling like no one could understand you, or like people just isolating you all the way.
Yeah, I've pretty much felt that my whole life. I've only come across a few people who seem to really have understood, like...
Is it the duel?
Well, I barely know her, but from what I can see, yeah, she does seem to understand me. And
do I understand?
Well, good for you.
Not at all, Blake. You don't know that. You friggin' suck.
Come on, Blake. You're still cold-hearted. How would you even understand him if you're too cold?
Don't make assumptions about my lack or abundance of empathy.
Hey, I know you won't.
Well, see, the thing is, when Blake uses empathy, it's clearly a tool used for manipulation. So I'm like, you know what? Nah, I'm just gonna stay right here.
Blake, have you practiced those seduction techniques?
Yo, you're muted.
I had my computer on mute when you did that, so they didn't hear you.
It's on mute again.
Yeah, I know, because I wanted to have it again.
Yo, what are people typing me as right now?
You got ENFP. You got human. You got neutral good.
Oh, yo, what the hell? Alignment system.
Yeah, you got INFP. My audience, they're all over the place with this one. There's no consensus.
I said ENFP.
Have you ever considered ENFP?
ENFP?
You know what that means? That means Damon Damon agrees somewhat.
I would say so. Like, I, I haven't really been strongly aligned with my own values my whole life, but or like try to go. Yeah, like all I know for sure is that I I didn't really have strong values. Like that's all I can say to that.
You don't have strong values. You're like, I don't have
Oh,
strong
like
values.
only if
but-
you like. Oh wait, yeah, like. I don't know, like it's too confusing. All right, so one thing. So Blake, one question for you. What do you think would have happened if you haven't met Trey? Yo, you're on mute.
Don't do that. Come on, just answer the question.
Okay, yeah. If I hadn't met Trey, I probably would have still been a degenerate smoking weed on my mom's couch with $47 in my bank account.
Oh,
Well, to be honest, I would probably not even got into personality type theory, but definitely more into personal development.
oh
And
yeah.
probably dive deeper into spirituality.
Oh, like you mean going to yoga? Yoga
Yes.
going
Some balancing out my thumb.
bouncing.
Oh,
Oh,
no,
like
seriously, I'm not joking. I wouldn't have stopped my personal development journey. I just wouldn't have got really into personality type theory. And
or like you probably would have done more social experiments. Like there's this one racist one where this one woman wears a hijab and then the guy just goes in and takes it off.
yeah,
Takes it off and like for a few times, like half the time people actually don't do shit. Like
oh
I
yeah,
don't know, like
I
I don't know, like nowadays.
yeah, I would look more into those social experiments. Kind of just look at people, predict why they do what they do, but not really have a tool to work off of. Kind of just make little assumptions and parallels here and there. This expedites
Oh yeah, parallel.
using MBTI, using Enneagram to
Oh, you mean just like using your SI there, just
using
like the try. Like you'd probably just be like, oh yeah, so this happened, so I'm going to do this again.
Oh, definitely. And
Probably wouldn't have been aware of your yeah.
Do what? I probably would have neglected my NE because before I met Trey, I kind of saw like being totally off. Well, I don't know. I just feel like I would have neglected my NE. So,
well, thing is, he had an ENFP friend as well, and I think both the combination of his ENFP friend and me being INFJ, we'd say stuff that we were like, oh, I was just thinking about this. And he'd be like, what the hell? Like, he'd be like washing the dishes or something. We'd just be sitting there and we'd have some weird idea. And I think he saw the potential in using intuition as a means to create business success.
or life success.
About failures.
Well, yeah.
Mm.
Because you get a awesome idea doesn't mean that it's a good idea.
Just that it's awesome.
Just that it's
Is that
awesome.
awesome? Gonna be like, or maybe it can be like Stalin and promote communism.
Oh,
Like be like, oh yeah, like we're all equal beings, so anyone who's not equal, they shall die.
yeah. That's something I probably looked into too a little bit more as political philosophy. But ever since I started understanding people more, I'm like, dude, you got to understand people before you want to try to like control them or like give them a system to work off of.
But then after all, systems, like I find that they're quite tentative. Like you gotta just keep inventing nonstop. And nonstop, like people are gonna be, oh, this theory is wrong. Like MBTI is bullshit, or Or like the government's just corrupt.
Things are meant to be dynamic and used in conjunction with other things. You can't really just have a set in stone method of doing something. I mean, of course, like if we're talking about like psychology and people, if you're talking about creating the perfect Coke or designing the perfect suit, yeah, there is a process. But dang, I want to see.
There's a process. Like you're the one who goes like, hey, you're supposed to do it this way.
Yeah, that's stereotypically what the ESTJ is supposed to do. But I will usually only scream that to the top of my lungs at somebody if I feel like what they're doing currently is harming their health or it's impeding them from performing at their best, which in a lot of cases is.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. What does best mean to you?
Best? It means, man, you're making this about me. This is meant to be about you, man. It's supposed to be about you.
He just wanted a chance to interview the entire.
Yeah.
Oh, you sneaky dog.
Except Daniel.
Yeah, Daniel will be.
Wait, you're calling me Daniel now?
No. We were saying that you would. Daniel's not here, but you'd be interviewing him as well.
I think this is a repeat of being ENFP.
Yeah.
Being you? What? Yo, you guys are overlapping right now.
Sorry.
Say that again.
I said I think this is a repeat of being ENFP. You know, this is the second time this has happened on MBTV Live. This being ENFP.
Wait, what makes you think I'm ENFP though?
I'm just saying we're getting ENFP'd. I'm not necessarily implying that you're.
Oh
ENFP'd.
yeah.
Okay, so there's this thing that happens when you bring an ENFP onto MBTV. Because of the wide range of personality dynamics, the ENFP takes it and makes it a very entertaining experience.
Oh.
And right now, Trey is being the ENFP because he's brushing his teeth live on MBTV. So, Trey?
Yeah, am I doing something wrong?
No, I'm just asking, why do you feel the need to brush your teeth right now?
It's symbolic of MBTV history.
Okay, tradition.
That's just excuses. That's
yeah, I do need to start winding this show up because it's already been over an hour. I want to make sure our audience is just get that full hour. Of course, I don't know if we delivered what we wanted to deliver today, but I certainly can say it was an entertaining experience. So that being said, Tony, you have anything for us? Anything you want to bring to light, fruition?
Happy birthday, MPTV.
Happy anniversary for sure.
Well,
But,
consider this your special birthday,
why?
special Canadian birthday, because like, which other Canadians have you spoken to?
A lot, actually. Most of my clients are Canadian.
Oh, surprising.
Yeah, it's kind of strange, but
Not on a live call.
that's true. We haven't had a lot of Canadians on a live call, but there was a Canadian on one live call we've done.
Well then, let's call it the Happy 10th Canadian Day.
10th Canadian Day. That works. All right. If you guys have any comments or questions for Tony here, please post them so I can ask him your questions. If not, or any questions for us, if you wish to ask me or any of the MBTV questions, you can always hop on Slack and ask us questions on there or tag us, and hopefully one of us will get to you and to be sure. So that being said, Tony, thanks for joining us. Blake, Trey, it's always a pleasure.
Yeah, thanks a lot, MBTV. Like, it's quite a pleasure talking to you. Like, I'm not sure if you guys are going to get stalked again, but yo, Damon, we got Snapchat.
Tony, I need you to Snapchat me right after this call, okay?
No. No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Denied.
No.
I'm snapping right now.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much, everyone, and we'll see you next time.